But it's okay because I can fire and replace him with somebody else that is 10 times better than him.
You think that you having a personal relationship with him had a lot to play with that feeling of loss?
That was the problem.
Yeah.
I had a personal relationship with the zoo to a point where I looked at him as like a family.
Exactly.
The link was too strong.
Yeah.
The bond. So there's bond, like chemicals. The bond.
Yeah.
The bond was too strong between the two molecules.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And you know what I did to really show if he was really my friend is if I try to tell him he's wrong. If I try to tell him if I can order him on purpose. I didn't do it like just because I was a boss. Just to test him. I was saying so many things that he couldn't understand. Like, why am I acting that way? I'm like, what? You know what I mean? I mean, we're in a corporate world, bro. We're in a position. I'm in a position. You're gonna put me in a position to let you go. You know? So I was testing him. Every test I put him, he failed the test. And that's when I realized that he's not really a friend. Because every test I put him.
Can we talk about that? That leaders test people? That's what I mean by not being afraid of confrontation. You're always testing people to see if they are who they are trying to be.
Yeah.
You were trying to be a leader. Show me. Prove it to me. We will battle in this little moment you want of who's the leader. But when I turn my energy up, like
it's follow the leader.
It's actually is different. Like because I'm good at letting people know this moment's important. You're listening to me right now.
Yeah.
Like I'm good at because I know myself so well. So that's what a lot of people aren't going to be aware of. Like you know yourself too well, bro.
Exactly.
Like most people, like it says, you can only meet people at the depth that they've met themselves. And so people can't match the depth you're like very like HD image, you know, like that's the same thing as all of us right now. That's why we shine, you know. We can't enter a room. People don't notice that we enter the room. I wish I could.
Yeah, I remember I could never skip class back in the day.
Exactly.
Because everyone, they'd be like, yo, where's Demba? Like every single time, I could never skip class because it was so noticeable. I'm sure y'all had the same issue. You know what I'm saying? I would not even talk, and niggas would be like, oh shit. Like, when I don't talk, everyone knows something's up.
Yeah, same, dude. It sucks because all my classes were discussion-based classes in college, like in English classes and stuff, and like you had to do readings and shit, and like sometimes I think it gave me an inverse thing happened in terms of like I thought that me talking less would give me would mean that I was trying to be in the background and not like, you know, not. But then I realized that when I don't talk, it puts me out in the front, in the spotlight, because whenever I speak now, people are really listening because I barely give them anything, you know. So I have to balance how much I wanted to participate because a lot of days I just didn't want to do it, man.
Yeah.
Like I just didn't want to do it. So I was like, how many days am I gonna not do it? And then what days? Whenever I'm into the reading, I guess I could be more active. But it's like, a lot of times like you're around people where it's like you like the conversation, you want to be a part of the conversation, but you know that you're giving a lot and you can't not give a lot.
Yeah.
So whenever you give, you might as well use it wisely. You don't like do it as much because I used to do it a lot. So I'm good at giving myself and sacrificing for people. I'm like always trying to be helpful. That's the thing leaders are always trying to do too, is always trying to be helpful. You know, we're always solution-oriented people. You know, always looking to solve problems.
Right.
Innovative solutions.
Boom. Give me a problem to solve.
Silence speaks a lot louder, you know. Because when you're not silent, you're very mysterious. And like you said, a lot of leaders try to test, or I was more than test, they try to vet all the people around them, you know. And definitely, like, I would say trying to be helpful, I guess, is definitely a leadership quality, but I would say I would refine it more to saying like trying to assist in goal accomplishment, right? You know, if you know what I mean, like being helpful. It's one thing if I could be helpful to you. It's another thing if I can be helpful to our end goal, to the three of our end goals. You know, because if I do some shit that's good for Warren, it might not be good for Marty. You know. And as a leader or as a boss, I'm going to need to be able to discern that. I'm going to need to be able to say, okay, well, what's good for you might not be good for you, but what's good for all three of us, I know, and it might not. None of us might like that shit, you know. That shit might mean, okay, we gotta be fucking abstinent, we gotta be disciplined, we gotta be on certain dietary regimen, whatever it may be. But what I know is in the sense of like problems and solving it, like the reason why most leaders try to vet everyone around them is because they want to know, okay, when shit hits the fan, when I am silent, when there's nothing to go off of, right? How are you going to respond? How do you do under stress? How do you do under pressure?
Yes.
How do you do in environments that maybe not be the most conducive to your success? How do you do when I give you a limited set of tools? And how do you kind of like, how do you use those things to accomplish whatever you need to accomplish? You know, do you need all the direction in the world, or can you kind of let, you know what I mean? Like, that's the way I can see. Now, I don't want to say ranking system, but like we said before, there is a ranking system in this world. You know, so it's naive to overlook it. You know, you have to look in the hierarchy of the corporate world. You know, like I can see, okay, well, this person can handle responsibility. This person can work really well in a team here. This person does better when they are not exactly told what to do because they come up with innovative solutions on their own. And like, what I'm going to say, like, kind of like piecing the silence piece together and everything, it's like, well, when I don't say shit, like the best team of people, yes, can follow instructions, but also can follow suit, you know? Following suit is a lot more important, I feel like, because if you can follow instructions, but I tell you how to like do some shit that's like fucked up, you know, a lot of people can follow instructions, you know? Doctors can follow instructions, you know? There's still like a fucking healthcare obesity epidemic out here, you know? Like, just because, you know what I'm saying? There's like, clearly something these niggas are saying is not right. You know what I'm saying? Because everyone's listening to what the doctors are telling them to do. Everyone's taking the drugs they're telling them to do. Like, just following suit, I mean, just following instructions, a lot of times it can be very helpful if you're in a support role, but it also can be very dangerous if the leadership, like I said, a lot of people don't deserve to be leaders right now. If the person leading you is blind, then it's like, you know what I'm saying, the blind following the blind.
Yeah, we should talk about that because that's a good talk. That's a good point when someone is incapable of their leadership. Does that mean? I think that does not mean that you do anything different than how you already are. You know what I'm saying? Like when you go into disagreement, the whole point is to see if you can maintain your form. You know, you didn't come out of character. So it is a test. So it's always like, all right, I went through this and I didn't really leave a negative mark, negative scar on that moment or that situation. You know, I did my best to just, you know, just try to get through it, man. Like I'm not trying to make this harder than it has to be.
Yeah. And like I said, following instructions is important, but if it's the blind following the blind, then, or I wouldn't even say that, but let's say, okay, maybe your leader is not the most hands-on leader, you know, your boss is not the most hands-on boss. That's when being able to follow suit is important. When having a similar end goal or similar vision is important, because you don't always need to be told, okay, do this, put this exactly here, make this. You can say, okay, I'm working on an internal combustion engine. Okay, I need a certain amount of pistons firing on this part. You know, I need it lubricated here. You know, I need a starter plug here. You know, I need, like, you know, the aspects, and you know, like, the blueprints roughly, even if it's not to the all intricacies that the person with the hawk guy seeing everything is seeing it with. Being able to follow suit and being able to say, okay, well, let me problem solve here. You know, let me think, well, what do I think is the best solution? Because, shit, like I say, you know, if companies don't grow off just always doing the same exact model and doing exactly what the person did before them.